Well, hello everyone. This is Robert from Black Belt Gaming. I've got the day off today. The players that have been invited to take on the roles of the different heroes have submitted their moves over on my Black Belt Gaming Facebook page. I know what they want to do. Now it's time to play our very first round of Descent: Journeys in the Dark, 2nd edition. Well, here is a look at our game board for our first quest, First Blood. We're playing the basic game. I set this board up in my previous video when I introduced the quest to all the players. Two things I want to mention. First of all, to help keep track of the goblins, we have 4 goblins over here, and we don't have 4 cards for the goblin archers, 4 or 5 cards, as we may need actually 5. What I'm doing to help keep track of all the goblins of the same color is I'm using these little tokens here. These tokens, 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. Those are going to help me keep track of which goblins are cut down and eliminated, which goblins have damage on them, that sort of thing. Let me show you where I picked those tokens up, because they did not come with the Descent set. Those tokens came from the Dungeons & Dragons miniatures game called Dungeon Command. I recently received this game in the mail, and I'll be featuring it on my channel very soon. It's a miniature battle game, and those tokens came from this set. Now here is the quest book, and I'm getting to the second point I want to make to the players. Reinforcements. At the end of each Overlord turn, he may place 1 goblin archer on the wild garden, respecting group limits. Well, this area here with the goblins on it is considered the wild garden. So it is my goal as the Overlord to get these goblins across the map, following this path, get through the water, and up to the exit over there. I need to get 5 goblins out, and I can win the game. Now, as you may cut down goblins as they're attempting to make their way into the secret passage, more goblins will spawn in this area. So that could very possibly be an endless battle. And you want to be careful about that because of these 2 large Ettins here with these nasty clubs. They're going to be coming this way most likely and starting to hit you on the back of the head. So remember that your goal, how you win the game, is to take down Mauler, and he is the red Ettin there. So don't lose sight of that main objective. That's how you are going to win. But certainly eliminating some goblins will slow down their progress towards me achieving my goal. Alright, the players have submitted their moves and we're ready to start. Our first player, Jason, playing the warrior dwarf berserker, said he wanted to move this way. 1, 2, cutting back diagonally, 3. That's as many points of speed as he has available, and he wants to push it and take 1 additional step. For this extra movement, Grisman has just taken on a point of fatigue. His stamina is 4, so he's got 3 points of stamina left. Adding some nice flavor text along with his post, Jason says his dwarf is going to take his chipped great axe and shout at the goblin, "Die, foul creature," before he attacks. Well, the chipped great axe is going to use the main attack die plus a red power die when we roll the dice this time. As the Berserker attacks the Goblin Archers, it's going to be one of the light colored or tan colored Goblin Archers. We look up to the top of the Goblin card and see that they have one gray die for their defense. Here we go with the attack and defense roll at the same time. 1, 2, 3 damage and 1 defensive shield. That's going to cancel this 1 point of damage here on the attack die. The range is ignored, so therefore 2 points of damage get through the Goblin's defenses. My poor, sweet Goblin Archer only has 2 points of health, so one of my poor minions is now dead. Since Grisbin is facing Goblin number 2 directly, let's have it be Goblin number 2 that bites the dust. We'll remove the figure and this token. And to help me keep track, I'm going to remove this token from the sideboard here, indicating the active goblins. Alright, Grisbin, not a bad beginning. Let's see if your other companions can do as well. Our next move was submitted by a fellow gamer named Robert, and he's playing Tumble Burrowell. Robert said for his character, the Thief, he wants to go to the northwest 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and then advance north 2 spaces, 1, 2. That is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and Tumble's speed is 4. So much like the Dwarf, he will take on a point of fatigue. So Tumble, I'm just going to put this point of fatigue right there in front of your card. Standing here, the Thief has a very clear line of sight to this Goblin Archer. This Goblin Archer is numbered 3. So let's have the Thief attack Goblin Archer number 3 with a throwing knife. The throwing knife will use the main attack die plus a yellow die. And as before, the Goblin Archer will roll a gray die for his defense. So let's pick these up and give them a roll. Okay, Robert, we may have a problem here with range. Let's see. We have 2 range and a surge. One thing you can do with one of your surges, if you see it there, you can actually add +1 range. Let's see if that's enough. When we're counting range, we have to start with the space adjacent to the hero. And this would be 1, 2, and that's all we had on the attack dice, was 2 range. Even if you spent the surge for an extra space, 1, 2, 3, it's still not going to be quite far enough to target the goblin. So I would think that the best thing for you to do is to spend that surge to recover your point of fatigue. So Tumble will take this fatigue point off. You're now at full stamina. However, the throwing knife just manages to stick into the ground at the feet of the Goblin Archer, who curses at you. Seth is playing our healer, and he is up next. As the healer, Seth said he wanted to move into a position to provide support for his friends in combat up in the intersection. With a speed of 4, I would imagine that Seth would take the following steps. 1, 2, 3. Let's move up a little bit. And we've got a decision to make, whether to go this way or this way. It's going to benefit Tomble quite a bit if Seth will move adjacent to Tomble. Tomble has a special ability that will allow him to gain an extra benefit when a character is beside him. There is a quick look at the ability, the hero ability of Tomble once again. It says if you're attacked while adjacent to at least one other hero, you may choose an adjacent hero and add the defense pool of that hero to your own. That's essentially going to double his defense dice. So I would say that's going to put our healer there, adjacent to Tomble, but within 3 spaces of both of the heroes involved in combat. Why 3 spaces? Well, a couple of the heroes' abilities can support characters within 3 spaces of him, such as Stone Skin. When a hero within 3 spaces of you is attacked, before dice are rolled, exhaust this card and add 1 additional gray die to that hero's defense pool. So this is going to cost a point of fatigue if it comes into play, but the healer there is in perfect position to add an extra defense die there for Tomble, and with the use of a hero ability he can do the same for the warrior. Coming up next is Jason from Minnesota. Minnesota Jason, as I've been calling him. Take a look on Facebook, Black Belt Gaming's Facebook, and you might be able to catch a link to a video Jason made introducing himself to everyone, especially his fellow party members. Leoric of the book. Let's take a look and see what Minnesota Jason wants him to do. Well, here's Minnesota Jason's post. He said he wanted to move and basically be a few spaces away from the crossroads. And that way he would be in a good position to have line of sight on any goblins that round the corner and start to head his way. But he said that he also wanted to search the caravan. Let's take a look and see what we can do. I think the only challenge I see is that you kind of wanted to be in the middle, facing 3 spaces away, but to search, you've got to be adjacent to this caravan's search token. Your speed is 4. Let's see what we could do for you. Perhaps you could move the first space diagonally. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that could get you in a position to be 1, 2, 3 spaces away from the main intersection there. But it wouldn't allow you to search the caravan. So, what could I do to help you here? For a point of fatigue, we could move you 1 more space and put you here, which would give you some very good line of sight on the intersection above, right toward where your allies are fighting. And then you could search this spot. Maybe this is the best thing to do. I sort of hate for you to move and not really be able to do much on your turn. So hopefully, Minnesota Jason, you're okay with this. I'm gonna put you here and spend a point of fatigue to get you to that spot. Okay, Minnesota Jason, there is a point of fatigue, and that's going to allow you to now search the caravan search token. First of all, we remove the token from the board, and then these cards have been shuffled. We draw the top card from the search deck, and it is a stamina potion. It says that you flip this card over during your turn to choose your hero or an adjacent hero. The hero recovers all points of fatigue or stamina. You go back to full stamina. Along with your other cards, we're going to add this stamina potion. And I'm just going to turn your cards around, indicating that that's the end of your turn. Now it is the Overlord's turn. When you play as the Overlord, you create an Overlord deck. And there are 15 basic Overlord cards that create the deck for the basic game. And those are the cards I have. There's actually a keyword basic on the bottom of the cards, which I'll show you in just a moment. How many cards do you take as the Overlord? Well, it says you draw a number of cards equal to the number of heroes. I'm not going to show you the exact cards in my hand, but I did want to show you that the basic keyword is on each of these. Here is the Overlord turn summary. We don't really have any start of turn abilities that I see that we need to take into account, so it's time to draw one Overlord card, and then we'll begin activating our monsters. So let's take one more Overlord card and add it to our hand. Well, the Overlord now has 5 cards in his hand, and I'm going to play the card I just drew. It's called Dark Charm, and it is one of the basic cards. It's magic, and it says play this card on a hero at the start of your turn. The hero tests his willpower, and if he passes, you draw an Overlord card. If he fails, you may perform a move or attack action with that hero as if he were one of your monsters this turn. You cannot force him to suffer fatigue or use a potion, but you may force him to attack himself. Alright, well, here we go. The Overlord has scanned the heroes and has decided to cast this dark spell on Leoric of the Book. Well, Minnesota Jason, your character has a willpower of 2, so we're going to take a black die and a gray die and roll them, and it needs to be a 2 or less for you to succeed at this test. Here goes the attribute test for Leoric of the Book. We've rolled a 4. The test has been failed. Leoric is now somewhat possessed. Dark magic begins to fall over Leoric of the Book. He feels a sudden urge to power up his arcane bolt and attack his companion, Everic Albright, right in the back. Leoric's arcane bolt will use the basic attack die and a yellow die. Everic will have a gray die for his defense. Sensing the evil and treachery, Everic Albright spins around and raises his shield in his own defense from the attack of his companion, the Mage. Now, a weakness for us not being at the table together is I have to make a judgment call here for Seth. Seth, I would assume from this unexpected attack, it might be a good time to use your Stone Skin spell. It's going to cause you to take on a point of fatigue and exhaust this card. This can be refreshed on your next turn, but it will allow you to add an additional gray die to your defense, and that might be wise at this point. So let's exhaust the Stone Skin card and put the 1 point of fatigue there. This will add a second gray die to the defense roll. Okay. Here are the results. A range of 5, which is plenty. 2 damage, and we have a surge. A surge here would result in Pierce 2. So that would cancel these 2 points of defense. That's going to leave 2 damage and 1 shield blocking 1 point of that damage. The end result from the Dark Charm is that Leoric of the Book hits Everic for 1 point of damage. Here at the foot of the healer's card, we'll add 1 damage token, indicating that he's received 1 point of damage. That leaves the healer with 11 points of health left. As odd as that was to have one of the player characters attack another, I have to admit, as the Overlord, that was pretty fun. It's now time to begin activating monster groups, and I'm going to play another card here, and it's called Dash. Play this card when activating a monster during your turn. That monster may perform an additional move action this turn, in addition to its normal 2 actions. Once again, this is a basic Overlord card. I think I'm going to select to use Dash on my archer here, this Goblin Archer number 3. The Goblin Archers have a special ability called Scamper. This monster may move through spaces containing heroes. Normally they can't do that. With a speed of 5, let's now see what kind of progress Goblin Archer number 3 can make. For his first move action, 1, 2, 3, 4, going through tumble space to 5. Second action, he's going to move 6, water, cost 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, moving adjacent to there, diagonally there. And then we have, due to the dash card, an extra action. We can spend it to move. 1, 2, 3, and he's off. So Goblin number 3 has escaped from the board. I'm going to remove his token over here. And because of that, the Overlord will take 1 fatigue token and we'll put it down here in my play area. Let's put it with the Goblin Archers. If I get 5 of those, then I've won the game. Goblin number 1 is going to scamper. Move action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second move action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to stop there. And once again, that's Goblin number 1. Goblin number 4 is now going to move, scampering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess he'll stop there. Add his token there for Goblin number 4. And then we have the I guess this little goblin boss here. He's going to scamper as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's about as far as he can make it. And he'll turn around and be prepared to take some hits from the enemies, trying to cover the other goblins' escape. Well, it's time to activate the Ettins next. The large monsters here have a speed of 3. So let's start with the lower level or less powerful Ettin. He's going to take a step forward here, and then he has to stop because he's blocked by the heroes. But he can attack, and the Ettins have reach. And reach allows a monster to attack targets up to 2 spaces away. They also, the red Ettin has an ability called throw, and that may come into play later. But with reach, this Ettin can attack either one of these characters. The large Ettin looks down with both heads at the tiny thief at their feet. They raise their massive spiked club in preparation of smashing the small thing. Okay, the Ettins are rolling a power die, a red one, along with the basic attack die of blue. Tomble normally has a defense die of 1 gray, but because he is adjacent to at least one other hero, and that's our healer. He can duck behind or maneuver around his ally, and he gains an extra defense die. So let's see what happens on the roll. Here we go. 2 defense and a total of 4 damage. We see 4 hearts there. And we have a surge. This surge can actually power up the attack to do an additional 2 points of damage. With the 4 hearts rolled, boosted by the surge for another 2, that's going to total 6. We negate 2 of those hearts with the defense die. That's going to result in 4 damage to Tomble. So, Robert, at the foot of your card, I'll place these 4 damage tokens. Your total health is 8, so the attack from the Ettin there knocked you down about halfway. Mauler, who's in the back, simply takes a step over this way and laughs with both heads at the heroes as the goblins scamper by, and as his minion buddy here nearly flattens the thief. As we come to the end of the Overlord's turn, the Overlord is allowed to bring in 1 reinforcement and place it on the Wild Garden tile. Perhaps there was another goblin in the bushes there, and we'll have him appear, I guess, right there. And let's call this particular Goblin Archer number 2. Well, here's the situation. Leoric of the Book is here. Our healer is there alongside with Tomble the Thief. And our Dwarf Berserker is over near the Wild Garden, where the goblins are currently spawning. Our 2 Ettins are to the north, and a pack of 3 goblins are wading through the water trying to get out of the exit there, also to the north. Hero status. Our Berserker has suffered, or spent, I guess, 1 point of fatigue. Tomble has taken 4 points of damage. Averick has suffered 1 point of damage and spent a point of fatigue there. And Leoric of the Book, 1 point of fatigue. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this first round. Our players will continue to post their actions over at Black Belt Gaming Facebook page. And I'll continue to play out the turns one by one and make a series and eventually a playlist for our first game here of Descent 2nd Edition. Please stay tuned, and I encourage you, viewers here at YouTube, to please leave your comments in the comments section if you have any advice for what the players should do in their next turn. That way, if any of the players are unable to post their actions in time, I'll take a look at your suggestions and use one of those. Thanks so much, and this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming. I will catch you guys again very soon.